welcome back. We haven't left yet, mother. So, we're here to talk about the store. We should have done this already, but stuff happens. So, along with the store, we'll be introducing the artist that's going to be working with us and their work. So for this game, we're having a store that the player will be working at in between races, based on IKEA. And the store will be called Eureka. If you want to know more about the concept and how we came up with it, check out our video on the origin story in the description below. We really want to make spaces where the player can get out of the car and actually be in the world. And this will be the main one. Here, the player will earn money to upgrade their car. You'll be interacting with the characters and coworkers a lot here, so we'll be putting a lot of story elements in there, and we also have tasks and mini games that we will have to do in the store as well. But first, we needed an actual store that our player could walk around in. Since we're doing 2D cars in a 3D world, we wanted to keep that same theme, so when you're out of the car, the characters in the world will be in the isometric view, meaning we're going to be using a 2D pixelated look, similar to Mega Man, just to add a bit more immersion. So I went on Fiverr and commissioned an artist to create the furniture store assets that we'll be using for the game, which actually came out pretty decently, but there still needs to be a lot of work done on the store as a whole itself. So after I pulled these into Unity, I found this isometric dude to test things on, and so I created an isometric movement script so that the player could, move about the space. And eventually went on to creating the isometric tile maps that we'll be using for the floor here. I followed one of Adam C. Eunice's, I hope I'm saying his name right, Adam C. Eunice's tutorials, and started to create the isometric floor tiles and drew them up in Sprite and then imported them into Unity. Basically, I just wanted to get the general idea of what we were going for, right? During this time, I had made several trips to IKEA myself to get an idea of the layout and how I would be placing assets and walkways. So I pulled up a map to use as reference. The first iteration was a bit too small, and then the next one was a bit too big. But around this time, we had an artist join our team, who is Win, also known as Arts of Win. I've been following this artist for about a year now, and she has a really cool style, and she's been sought out to do collabs with other brands as well, and she has this really cool manga anime street style that I just love. And seen as how we're making an anime style drifting game, which takes place on the streets, we really wanted to work with her on this game. So we reached out, and luckily she was interested and had always wanted to pursue a career in the game industry. We worked out a contract, and now she's partnering with us on this game. So we'd like to formally welcome Win, aka Arts of Win, to the team. So we talked to her a bit about what we were looking for with the characters, and we thought about trying something with a bit of a washed out color. First design that really didn't match what we were looking for like at all. We wanted to work with Win for her style, so why not just soak the game in that style? So we mentioned we wanted more of her art style, and she got back to us with these. And this is what our main characters are going to look like for the most part. She also suggested a style where the character could put up their hair when they're driving. The design looked really cool. A bit too cool for a main character. We want him to be a bit more meekish and disheveled, and this guy looked confident as and like he was on point in every aspect of his life. And so naturally we made this design our antagonist, right? A little bit of the yin and yang going on there. So after proving the character designs for the bus, Win started to work on their isometric viewpoints. We've nailed down a style for our isometric characters that we really liked. And after that, Win started on their walking animations. So since we are setting up an isometric style, we needed 4 walking animations for the 4 different angles that the character would be walking. We needed front left, front diagonal right, back, you know what I mean? You get it, you guys have played Mega Man Battle Network. Anyways, you should have if you haven't. Afterwards, she got back to us with that. The animations were pretty solid and they were ready to be placed in the store and set them up with their walking orientations. After setting up those animations, I started working on the new space and then placing those furniture sprites around the space and setting up the sections that we're going to be using. I also made a few outline tiles with this blue line, so we can kind of get this like edge going around the walkway. I then set up a series of nodes in different sections, which will house the paths that the various AI will walk along. After setting up the points, I then wrote a script to move them and cycle their animations based on the angle they were walking. I set the system up to allow for randomization so that the system could just pick random customer AIs and place them in a random section and a random path, and it'll just work. We still need to add a bit more to that system, especially when we start working with multiple scenes, but for now, this was good enough. The idea for this specific scene setup is that we'll be doing some training drills for the job, and which is why the customers have the silhouetted figure of the girl coworker. She'll be the one you'll be practicing on. She'll be playing the role of the customer, just to play with an example. But we plan on filling this space out a lot more. So we're now streaming on Twitch. If you want to pop in and say hi sometime, or just hang out, or give us some feedback and suggestions on the game, follow us on our social media on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Links are in the description. We'll be posting updates on there when we're streaming. All right, see you guys later.